Hello and welcome to Global Connections. My name is Julia Trujillo Luengo and I will be your host. As you are all aware, we meet every month to get the chance to get to know our global neighbors. Part of my job at the City of Portland, running the Office of Economic Opportunity, is getting to know many people from around the world, and this is just an opportunity to get to know them. Today, it is my pleasure to have with me my dear friend Tərlan Əhmədov, and he will be introducing himself and letting us know a little bit about himself and what brought him here to Maine. Welcome, Tərlan.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's really an honor to be here today with you.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. So tell us a little bit about you, your journey, your family, where you live today.
So I born and raised in country of Soviet Union and the Republic of Azerbaijan. So I was the fourth child in the family, and we raised in like typical Soviet family.
Okay.
And when I was about 17, 18 years old, this is when the started the crash and collapse of Soviet Union. So I was a witness of all these calamities in that region. And I remember, the people who left the country, the refugees from the conflicting zones. So our country became independent in 1991. And it is our proud to be independent. And, I was a student, I remember very well that how we were marching in the city for independence, against the Communist Party, how this, revolution, we can say, they all was in front of me, and I was just really so empowered by the notion and all the feelings of being free and having freedom. So, the country was for 70 years under the Soviet regime, under communist regime, and we became independent in 1991. It was really a big victory for us, for people of our country. So, and of course, as you know, maybe that Azerbaijan was in a conflict with the neighboring country, with Armenia, who occupied about 20% of our land, and Nagorno-Karabakh, or Dağlık Karabakh, how we say, is occupied by the military forces. There was a ethnic cleansing. We have over 1 million refugees from Armenia and from Nagorno-Karabakh in Azerbaijan, which is about highest number per capita refugees in the world in one small country. We are a very small country, but with a really high number of with the refugees and internally displaced people. So I immigrated to US about 15 years ago with my wife, and we have 2 children born here in Portland. So I have a son who is in high school, and my daughter in middle school. I mean, we're a happy family, We are really lucky to be here in Portland.
And when you came to the U.S., did you come directly to Maine?
Yeah. When we immigrated, we came here directly to Portland, Maine, because my wife's family already been established life here.
Okay.
So we reconnecting and reuniting with her family.
Okay. And now that it seems like when you talk about the evolution of your country,
yes,
and now that you're in a different country,
yes,
what are the things that you value about both places in comparison to the old Azerbaijan under the Soviet Union?
So of course, our countries.
Too big of a question.
But I will try my best. Azerbaijan is called a land of fire. It's a very ancient country, ancient land, with a very diverse culture. In religion, in ethnic base, we have many different ethnic groups living in our country. It's actually a center between different big empires. So we've been a part of many empires. So we invaded by the Romans, been invaded by the Greeks, we invaded by the Arabs, by Iranian or Persian, the Empire, and we've been a part of the Ottoman Empire. So been lately, we've been invaded by the Russian Empire. So we've been going through many, many, many differences. So that's why when we see the countries, including many differences, it has tolerance toward all religions. So we have, it's a predominantly Shia country, Muslim country, but we have also Sunni, the community which is living in peace. We have one of the best relations with Turkey, which is Sunni predominantly. So we have a connection with Israel, whereas the Jewish country, and we have a largest Jewish community in the Muslim world. So we have, and the first time actually when we become democratic and independent countries was 1918, after the collapse of the Russian Empire. So we had the first nation in the Muslim world become independent with the parliament and with giving the right to the women. So we have a really 100-year culture of giving the rights to the ethnic groups, to religious group, to people, to the women. And also we have a very diverse culture in terms of music, poems, and this is just so enriched. So when I come here, of course, there is a lot of similarities, but also differences too. But I look at the similarities. When people ask me, when I go back home, how people is in America, the question, I say, the people are people. Doesn't matter where they're living. In Australia, New Zealand, America, Europe, doesn't matter in Azerbaijan. So we, as a human beings, we have the same issues. We have the same, victories. So each of us have hopes, regardless where we live, regardless who we are, what kind of race, what kind of ethnics. I mean, we are, as a human beings, we have the similar and common issues and common, similarities. But, between the former Soviet and the modern, the Azerbaijan, and now I'm in America, I wanted to say that, of course, in America, when I came here, there's many, many opportunities. The country is a wealthy country. You can actually succeed in many ways. In Soviet Union, we also have, opportunities for people, but everything was under ideology of communism. So you have access to the free education, free childcare, housing, but everything was limited. So you didn't have really a lot of freedom to make choices. So you cannot have your own, like businesses, because it was not acceptable to the Communist Party, or by Communist Party or by regime. So, but in new country, which we are building back in Azerbaijan, we are trying to build all democratic institution. We are trying to build a new modern society, which is embedding the East and the West and our former Russian connection and our former Ottoman or Persian. There's so much values and traditions are, building in this new country. And I'm really happy each year when I travel back to my home, I see there's so much changes in a good way. There is a positive changes. We have so many good stuff happening, but we need to work a lot.
So do you think that, speaking of, it seems like a melting pot, like it happens here in the U.S., but it seems that the U.S. it's a much younger country dealing with that melting pot, and you have centuries behind you, and now you have the full sort of control, but responsibility to take this melting pot and make it constructive society moving forward.
That's correct. Although we are independent, but when you compare, of course, it's two incomparable countries in terms of the, their geopolitical, the situation where they are, stands. Of course, U.S. is the #1 country in the world. It's a superpower, and when we see our small country, which is in the Caucasus Mountains between Iranian government and the Russian government, and having a very wealth resource in oil and oil industry. So we have to make sure that...
It's a rich country.
It's a very rich country. We have a lot of gas and oil, and we have a lot of, people's, the human resources in turn, because people are very well educated. So during Soviet Union, we had a really high rate of literacy. So it is a young country, but at the same time we have, like thousands of years of our traditions and, but to be really more independent, to be more, independent in terms of having less pressure from all these big empires and you know, big countries. We have to really have our independent, balanced politics. And I think our government tries to do their best. And that's, I think, bring the country to the, you know, the wealth and success and, you know, all what we have right now.
So to help the viewers, like, I assume you bring some of your cultural background from your country into your new home and this new city. What are ways that you feel that you've brought those traditions with you, and what are other traditions that you've inherited from being here in the U.S.?
I wanted to start with what I learned from here, and then what I contribute. Of course, when I came here, I was a young man, about 30 years old. We have been coming with my wife. Everything for us was starting from scratch. So we have been motivated a lot to really restart our life and, you know, to succeed here. But what first things I learned, you know, although I was not speaking well in English, I was a newcomer, stranger, but I was really accepted by many people. So people generously accepting me here. They opened their hearts and, you know, arms and embraced me and support a lot. What I learned from here, the first things, you know, volunteerism. That was something, a very new idea for me. So we have been, you know, maybe volunteering during Soviet Union time, but it was more with forced volunteering.
A different concept of
very different concept of volunteering. So here in America, I really love that. So that's
really
how I started.
willing.
I started my job with volunteering, and that's how I was hired later on, where I now work. But, you know, the things, it was kind of dual or mutual kind of interest. So I was learning a lot, I giving a lot, and at the same time I gaining a lot. So also the place where I volunteering, also they gain a lot of more of my expertise, of my willingness to support other people. So that was a wonderful, rewarding things I can do, and I actually teach people back in my home. So this is something, and we now, when we go back after 15 years, I see that's really started also over there.
Really?
With the Olympic Games that we have over the first European Olympic Games, with all this Grand Prix and, you know, Eurovision, you know, Eurovision. So there was a lot of young people start to volunteer, and the country brought actually from international volunteers also. So that's a really wonderful things that we were adopting here, and actually our country also. But what I can contribute, and what I was contributing here, I think what I contributed back to our community when we are here, my hospitality. That's actually embedded. You know, we were very, very hospitable people, and for us to bring and offer the best food, the best things to our guests, and bring people together, unite them together, although they may be from a different you know, backgrounds. But that's what I was contributing here. So my house always open for many people from different places, and I enjoy to live in this city.
So that's something that I know because I know you. But if somebody travels to Baku or other regions in Azerbaijan, what are things that they may notice right away that is a change in how life goes about over there?
I think what anyone who will come to our country, the first things they will, you know, find how people are open. They like to chat. They would incredibly will you know, like offer you anything. So if you knock the door, someone asks, where is this address or where I have to go? First, they will come and drink tea. They will feed you. They will and they will take you wherever you need it to go. So any, you know, even taxi driver would offer you sometimes free driving.
Yeah.
You know, this is just something, you know, we are so happy to share. And you walk in the city, people will be always, you know, supportive to you. And I think that's how we are well known.
So in terms of also the hospitality, you've been into, I'm sure, very many American homes, American restaurants, and Maine-based families. So if one of the viewers were to go to your home and you would welcome them, what is a typical feast or buffet that you would see in a...
First of all, we are very proud of our tea tradition. We drink a tea, And it's for us, it's tradition how to drink the tea. We have a lot of sweets and pastries and so many things on on our tables, and it should be always, you know, beautifully different
displayed.
Colors. Displayed, yes. But also our main courses, we are famous of eaters of kebabs, and we have many different types of grills and kebabs, from the chicken to sturgeon, the meat, you know, lambs, and also vegetables. We eat a lot of vegetables, like raw vegetables, like herbs. So our always place have, you know, like we offer this as a, and also bread. So bread, you know, cheese, you know, this kind of different, the course, which also goes with the main course, with a pilaf, and we have over 40 different types of pilafs. Only in the 40, you know, it's only. And we have very rich cuisine. So I think what also difference between restaurants in America and back in Azerbaijan. So in America, when you go to the restaurant, it's more kind of intimate. It's always like a half dark, very, it's not loud music, very country back in my home. It is a lot of food. It is a lot of music. It's loud. People are really enjoying, and everything starts after 8, 9 p.m. So here, everybody's at 8, 9 p.m. You know, they go to sleep, or they just relaxing. But relaxation in our country is very different. So it's a more, you know, like having a parties. We have traditional weddings, and you know, a lot of feasts, and people are really happy to go to restaurants and cafe and tea houses. And tea houses is also important for many businesses. So all negotiation actually go over the tea. So it's like you go maybe coffee shops back in maybe Spain or somewhere else, but in Azerbaijan, tea is really important. So the tradition of tea is not only we're negotiating over the tea on you know, dating, you know, if we wanted to, you know, or we wanted to make any big business, you know, like decisions. So everything goes on the negotiation over the phone, over the tea. Yeah.
So if you could bring one of your American neighbors or friends over there, where would you take them?
I would take them
2 or 3 places that you would.
So
take
in Baku, we have a rich historical, you know, it's a very historical city, over thousands of years. You know, we have a beautiful inner city. We have a beautiful palace from Shirvanshah, that's our kingdom. We have a very old settlement of the humans out of Baku in the mountains, and you can see some drawing
writing or something?
Yes, on the rocks. Also, we have one place we call this Yanardagh. It's actually CNN was talking about it like recently. So this is the place where the natural gas comes, and it's for thousands of years just burning, you know, it's a fire there all the time. We have also the first, I believe it's the only one in the world, temple for Zoroastrian, because our country was a part of Zoroastrian culture. It's one of the oldest religion in the world, before we embrace, you know, the Christianity. And then after Christianity, we become Muslim country. So we have all these traditions. And when you go to these places, you are just enjoying this. And we have a lot of mountains. So people who wants to go to, you know, we have a Caspian Sea. You can, you know, swim. You can go to the mountains. You can go to many places in the winter, summer. It's a wonderful time, a place, and you know, to really spend time on your vacation.
So what about the other way around? When family or friends of yours come from Baku, where do you take them here? Oh,
number one, you know, when actually my family just came, friends like 2 weeks ago, and they were visiting the US. They came to New York. They went to New York, and then they came Boston. Then they came to Portland. So number one, we take them to our Cape Elizabeth, you know, the Fort Williams.
Yes.
And then we go to LL Bean, and we are proud to have LL Bean. And just Portland, we were just walking in Portland, in a city by the ocean, on the commercial street. Actually, they were staying at the hotel, and they've been really so in love with Portland than New York. They said, no, we don't like so much New York. It was so many people, so much. But in here, we just feel real American life. I said, wow. It was like very surprising, because for me, when I came from the 3.5 million city, moving here 15 years ago and living in a small city, it was really difficult because I came from a very cosmopolitan city, big city with millions of people, so many transportation, very good transportation system, infrastructure well developed.
Communicated.
And when you come here,
you feel isolated that way.
Yeah, it's isolated. It's small, and I was some kind of a little depressed in the beginning. But then when I start working and volunteering and doing a lot of stuff, so that's how I feel. Actually, this is a nice place to live.
Yeah. So also, usually, you're in love with both countries, but you are really in love with Azerbaijan. So usually, I ask guests to bring something or speak to something that means something to them in this journey that has brought you here. Did you bring an object with you?
I brought actually 3 objects.
Okay.
So all of them is here. So this is my country flag.
Okay.
And I believe in this flag so much because we believe independence and freedom was not easy for my nation to gain. And we believe one time this reason, the flag, we have to keep this all the time.
Yes.
And I'm proud to be Azerbaijani. As our former president said, Haydar Aliyev, he was telling, I am very proud to call myself, I am Azerbaijani. But at the same time, I'm also proud to call, I am American. My children born in America. So, and I have the mutual, respect to flag of America to Azerbaijan. The other things I brought with me, this is hat. It is a natural lamp, made from the lamp. And so we use this. This is for the men. And this is very traditional.
Okay.
We always say the hat should be, it's a dignity and honor to have it. So sometimes, we have sayings. Take your hat aside and just think about who you are. So, and sometimes I take and put, where I came from, what is my purpose, and what I wanted to do. So hat helps me a lot, and that's connect me with my country. And the last one, and not least, this is, my grandmother was always, when she was praying, and it helps us to connect with our spirituality, who we are. That's always important for us to have this beast. And this very important stuff in our life, in the Middle East, This is evil eye. So maybe I'm not so prejudiced or have superstition, but I believe this is also having some kind of a spiritual connection with my previous, life.
Yes. And,
also I believe it's protecting me and my family.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, no. So that's my connections, and I believe I brought them here with me, and every day I listen my music. I listen music from my country because it helped me, and also I pray. I have this hat in the special days and occasions, and I teach my kids to be really good citizen, regardless where they live. When we say good citizen, love the place where they live, respect to other people, and treat other people how they like to be treated. And that's what I have in my life.
It's, as we're wrapping up the show, there are many things that I would love to keep asking you, but we run out of time so quickly. Is there anything else that you would like to add to make sure that
I think
that our viewers understand? Because this is a unique opportunity for people who maybe you're the only person they'll ever meet from Azerbaijan.
Maybe. Yeah, we are a very small community here in Maine, but what will be 2 things I would talk for my Mainers, general Maine population? I would love to tell them thank you for all hospitality, for all support that we receive as a new immigrants, and I think their investment is really fabulous and incredible. I wish that we have more welcoming immigrants and making this environment more welcoming and happy, so people can really contribute in the full, speed and whatever they have from. Because we came here well-educated, most of us, and we have culture. We wanted to bring here a lot of contributing what we have. But at the same time, for the new Mainers who come here, I would suggest motivate yourself. Do not stop of thinking what you can do better. Because we can do better every minute, every day, but you have to work hard. Working hard can bring success to you. Successful person really is important in our community. We wanted to really support each other, but I think we motivate yourself. Don't wait for someone to come to your home. You have to go out from your home. You have to knock the doors. You have to go to your neighbors. You have to go to your community. You have to integrate fully. Go to museum, go to the theater, go to the, the place, the cultural cinemas. And, if you sit only watching go to work and come to your home, maybe learning some English and watching maybe a little bit TV, it's not enough. Real integration when you have your neighbors inviting your neighbors, you invite a lot of friends and guests and being a part of them. Because regardless who we are, our kids will be so melted here. And I think this is really important for them.
You belong here.
Yeah, because we feel we are belonging,
well,
of course.
Thank you so much, Tərlan, for being here with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you to you and for your good job.
Thank you.